Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you again to the bridging program of the Department of Animal Science. But before anything else, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Jane Camille Crisostomo and I'll be your instructor for the swine production under the Bridging 2 program. This PowerPoint presentation covers the whole module under the swine production. I hope this presentation answers most, if not all, of your questions. So we have three modules under swine production. The first module is the swine industry in the Philippines. So let's start. In this module, we will be able to discuss the current status of swine industry in our country. We would also learn to interpret data that we will be gathering in the Philippine Statistics Authority. So as a background, pork is the most consumed animal meat product by Filipinos. It has consistently represented more than 55% of the total animal meat consumption of Filipinos, and the remaining 45% is beef, cara beef, chicken, and other meat. The next figure shows the top hog producing provinces in the Philippines. So these are Batangas, Bulacan, Bukidnon, Cebu, Tarlac, Iloilo, South Cotabato, Rizal, Negros Occidental, and Leyte. On your module, you can see this table. This presents the inventory of swine by farm type. And these are classified as backyard and commercial farm. Okay. So, first, paano natin masasabi na yung farm na ating pinuntahan or yung farm natin ay commercial farm? So, we can distinguish if it is a commercial farm kung masasatisfy niya ang alin dito sa tatlong condition. First, kung yung farm ay merong at least 21 heads ng adult livestock or merong 41 heads ng young animals. And lastly, kung meron siyang 10 heads ng adult and 21 heads ng young livestock. If hindi siya pumasok sa mga criteria na ito, siya ay pwede nating i-categorize as a backyard. Kung meron tayong at least 1 head of livestock, pwede siyang i-categorize as a backyard farm. Okay, so on your assessment task, you will be asked to fill up this table. Okay, so the first column is the year, covering from 2009 to 2019. Next column is for the population. So, I would like to remind you that this column is for human population. So, itong column na ito ay para sa population nating mga Pilipino. Okay? So, merong link sa baba, pwede nyo yun i-click or pwede kayo dun mag-search kung ilan ang population natin sa mga year na ito. Okay, next naman ay volume of production. Itong volume of production siya ay pork production. Okay? This asks how much or how many kilograms of pork we were able to produce during these years. Okay, so noong 2009, gaano karaming pork ba ang na-produce natin dito sa Pilipinas? Okay? Next is the per capita consumption. Meron din tayong formula sa baba. It is PCC is equal to volume of production divided by population. So, ang sinasabi lang nitong per capita consumption, it simply asks how much does each one of us are supposed to consume based on our volume of production. For example, we are 100,000. For example lang, 100,000 tayong mga Pilipino. Tapos, noong 2009, nakapag-produce din tayo ng 100,000 kilos ng pork. So, each one of us can consume 1 kilo per year. Okay? So, mas madaling example. For example, in our class, there are 40 students. Okay? So, if meron akong 40 na candies, each one of you can consume 1 candy. Okay? So, next assessment task ay ito. So, you will make a graph based on your computations that you have made on the previous table. So, dun sa kinompute natin na per capita consumption, gagawa ka ng graph. You can make use of any graph that you think can be applied. Okay, so in my example here, I use a line graph. So first, write the title, per capita consumption of pork. Okay? So first, of course, lalagyan mo siya sa left side, yung kilogram consumed. So this is only a assumption. Hindi ko ito kinompute, just to give you an example. Okay? So sa baba naman, makikita nyo yung year. So just connect it, and that's it. That's a line graph. Okay? So for the last part of your assessment task, you were asked to compute for the annual increase in population and the projected demand. Okay. So as you can see, meron tayo ditong population. So noong 2020, meron tayong 100 tayong mga Pilipino ay nasa 109 million na. So, assuming that yearly, tumataas ang population natin ng 1.4%. So, to compute for the annual increase in population, you should multiply the population with the annual growth rate. Okay, this is to take note lang. Kapag gumagamit kayo ng calculator, don't forget to use the percent sign. If not, gawin nyo siyang 0.014. Okay? Next is the projected demand. So, projected demand, from the word itself, how can we describe projected demand? Pag sinabi natin projected demand, tinitignan natin kung ilan ang pangangailangan natin para sa susunod na taon. At nang sa gayon, pwede nating i-adjust yung ating ipoproduce. For example, kagaya ng sinabi ko kanina, meron akong 40 candy. Dahil 40 yung estudyante ko. Paano kung nalaman ko pala na next sem, magiging 45 yung estudyante ko? So, technically, kailangan ko mag-adjust and mag-a-add ako ng 5 para mabigay yung demand nila. Okay? So, kaya natin kinocompute tong projected demand para malaman natin kung maiibigay natin yung pangangailangan nating mga Pilipino. Okay? In terms of pork. Okay. So, next module is the selection of gilts and boar for breeding. In this module, we should be able to identify the important economic features of pig based on their external parts. Also, to learn and apply the basis in selecting desirable pigs as a foundation for breeding, and also to compare the production performance of different swine breeds. So if you have time and you have the internet connection, I recommend you to watch the links below. So sa YouTube yan. Okay, so before anything else, let us first define the most common swine terms. I know that you are all familiar with these swine terms, and I suppose that you have already discussed this during your previous ANSAI subject, but let's just consider this as a review. So first, a swine is a generic term for every kind of hog and pig. Ibig sabihin, collective term siya sa kahit anong edad. Hog refers to swine weighing over 120 pounds or more than 54 kilograms. Next naman ay pig. It is a swine weighing under 120 pounds or less than 54 kilos. Okay? Boar are sexually mature males used for breeding. Barrows are male pigs that were castrated at a young age. Itong barrows, sila yung intended natin for pork production. Tinatawag din silang fatteners. Okay? Next, stag. Sila yung mga boar that is castrated after sexual maturity. Ibig sabihin, na-reach na nila yung sexual maturity nila bago sila kinastrate. Sow. These are older females who have given birth. Okay? So, gilts, sila naman yung younger females that are usually destined to become mothers, pero hindi pa sila nanganganak. So, next is selecting replacement gilts. So, why do we need to select replacement gilts? Because kapag yung mga sow natin, matanda na sila, hindi na sila ganun ka-productive, kailangan na nating mamili ng replacement gilts. Okay? Para mapagpatuloy yung ating production. So, first criteria is good temperament and smooth general appearance. So, what is temperament? Okay, temperament is the animal's nature, disposition, and character as a whole. Because remember that the animal with good temperament is easier to handle. Okay, next is gilts with at least 6 pairs of teeth and well spaced. Always remember to avoid blind and inverted teeth. Okay, so 6 pairs of teeth meaning 12. Okay, so dapat meron siyang 12 teeth na well spaced. Okay, so bakit kaya kailangan natin ng 12 or 6 pairs? Because it has the more teeth na active, it has the more chance that she can raise healthy pigs. Why? Because for example, meron siyang 12 piglets and then yung teeth niya ay 10 lang. Okay? So, paano makakakuha ng milk yung dalawa, di ba? So, mag-aagawan sila. Kaya dapat at least 6 pairs of teeth. Okay. Next is, it should have a long body to accommodate the suckling pigs while nursing. Ito na nga yung sinasabi ko kanina. Kasi kapag short yung body niya, ibig sabihin, hindi well-spaced yung kanyang teats. So, kapag hindi well-spaced, mag-aagawan yung mga piglets niya para makakuha ng milk. Okay, next is gilts with strong legs and pasterns. Remember to avoid small inside toe, particularly the hind legs. Why? Because strong legs is necessary during breeding. Okay. Next is select gilts with strong, straight, or slightly arc, but not through broad back. Why? Because during pregnancy, it may cause the udder to touch the floor. Okay. Next is select gilts with back fat thickness of about 2 cm only. Okay. Next is this table shows the criteria, age, and cycle of sow or gilt. Okay, so the ideal age to breed a gilt is at 8 months. Okay, because during this age, sila na ay sexually mature. Okay, the aim should have to be a gilt that ready to mate, weighing 100 to 120 kilos live weight. Okay, length of heat period is 2 to 3 days. So, what is heat period pala? Heat period is the period where sow or gilt is sexually perceptive or receptive to males. Okay, so when is the best time to breed? Period. So in gilts, during the first day, while in sow, during the second day. Why? Because this is relative to the release of egg cell from the ovary. Okay. Next is number of services per sow. So 2 services at an interval of 12 to 14 hours. So what is services? A service is the introduction of semen into the uterus of a sow or gilt. So this can be done during natural mating. This can be done through natural mating or by artificial insemination. So period of estrus, average is 21 days, and the occurrence of heat after weaning. So 2 to 10 days after mong iwala yung kanyang mga piglet, mag-hihit na uli siya. Okay, gestation period is 114 days. What is gestation period? That is pregnancy. Okay. So, next is selection of replacement boar. Okay, so kung kanina, kailangan nating i-replace yung mga sow na unproductive na or mababa na yung production. Of course, kailangan din nating i-replace yung mga boar. Okay? You can see this figure, yung example ng sound and unsound boar. Okay, boar to have sound feet with good full hams, the uniform curve at the back, and good health. Of course, kailangan natin ng strong legs. Okay, boar to be selected from sow which win 8 to 10 or more piglets per liter are known to be good mother. Ibig sabihin, yung pipiliin nating sow dapat ipinanganak galing sa 10. Dapat ipinanganak ng nanay na merong 10 anak. Okay, so ibig sabihin dapat kasama siya sa 8 hanggang 10 siblings. Next, selection to be done before castration. Of course, kapag napili mo siya, kapag siya na yung napili mo, hindi mo na siya ika-castrate. While yung mga hindi mo naman napili na piglets, ika-castrate mo na sila and sila na i-intend natin for pork production. Okay, always select the biggest from the litter. Of course, yung litter, yun yung group ng batch na pinanganak na piglets. A boar must be at least 8 months old at the first service. Same age as the gilt. Okay. Select boar that is masculine with well-developed testicles. Because kapag hindi well-developed yung testicles niya, mababa yung chance niya na magkaroon ng magagandang anak. Okay? Next, select boars that possess a strong constitution and high libido but controlled temperament. Next is select boars with no physical hereditary defects such as hernias, undescended testes, and blind or inverted teats because itong mga karakteristik na to pwedeng mamana ng anak niya. Next, before your assessment task, I would like to show you the most commonly used breed of swine. So first is the landrace because they are known for good mothering ability. Next is large white because it is also called mother breed or also known as Yorkshire. They are much longer than the landrace. And lastly, the Duroc or also called the Red Power. In terms of pork meat production, white pigs produce more pork, but the Duroc produces juicier meat. Okay, so kaya itong tatlo na to yung mostly ginagamit for production. Okay, for your assessment task for the selection of gilts and boars for breeding. So you need to research for the data regarding the production performance of different breeds of boar and gilts. So meron kayong table na ganito and i-research nyo siya by breed. Okay, so merong landrace, large white, and Duroc. So first is the average daily feed intake. Kung gaano karami ang intake niya per day. Okay? Next is the average daily gain. Kung gaano kabigat ang dumadagdag sa timbang niya kada araw. Next is the feed conversion ratio or FCR. Kapag nakuha nyo na average daily gain and average feed intake, pwede niyo i-compute yung FCR by feed intake divided by gain in weight. So, ano ba ibig sabihin ng feed conversion ratio? Lower the better. Why? Because ibig sabihin ng feed conversion ratio, kung ilan ang kinakain niya para mag-gain siya ng 1 kilo. Laging 1 kilo. Of course, mas gusto natin kung mas mababa kinakain niya, pero nag-gain pa rin siya ng 1 kilo. Okay? Back fat thickness and selection index, may formula sa baba, and age at 90 kilograms. Okay. So, next module. So this is the last module under the swine production. It is the sow reproductive performance. Okay. So at the end of the module, we should be able to familiarize with different records for sow and fattener, also to calculate important production parameters and to interpret their production performance. Okay, so before that, let us first discuss the common terms in production of swine. Okay, so swine terms. First, conception rate. Okay, conception rate is the percentage of pregnant sow based on the number of sow bred. Okay, for example, meron kang 10 na sow. Okay, so pinabreed mo silang lahat. So 10 sila. Kaya lang, after 10 days, nalaman mo na ang nabuntis lang sa kanila ay 8. Okay, so ang conception rate mo ay 80%. Okay? Next is the dry period. Okay. Dry period is also known as the rest days. It is a period when the sow is not producing milk and also not pregnant. Okay. Farrowing. It is the act of giving birth. Next, farrowing rate. It is the percentage of sow that gave birth based on the number of pregnant sow. Okay. Next is fattening. Okay. Fattening is a pig that raised to market weight and is ready for butchering. So, itong fattening, sila yung baboy na intended for pork production. Pangkatay sila. Next is gestation period. Ang gestation period ay pagbubuntis. Tumatagal ng 114 days or 3 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days. Next is lactation. Of course, lactation is the time when the sow is producing milk, feeding its piglets. Next is litter. Litter is the group of pigs na pinanganak ng sabay-sabay. Okay? Group of pigs born in one farrowing. Okay? Kapag nanganak yung nanay, isang nanay, 10 yung pinanganak niya, yun ay litter. Okay? Litter index, litter size, is the number of piglets born in 1 litter. Litter index is the number of farrowings of sow in a year. Okay. Next ay lost days. Ito yung mga araw kung saan yung sow ay hindi buntis and hindi rin lactating. Mummified. Itong mummified are a piglet that is born dead. So, pinanganak na siyang patay. Piglets born, of course, piglets that are born alive. Rearing. Rearing is the period from nursery and fattening period. Ito yung period ng pagpapalaki mo dun sa piglet. Services, the introduction of semen into the uterus of a sow. This can be done through natural mating or artificial insemination. Stillborn is the piglets that are born alive, pero namatay din. Okay? Weaning, the process of separating young from its dam. So, kapag winalay mo na yung piglet sa sow, yun ay tinatawag na weaning. While weanling naman ang tawag dun sa iwinalay mong anak. Okay? Young pig separated from sow. In your assessment task, you have an Excel file and you will answer there. But I suggest if meron kayong time, pwede kayong mag-practice computing manually. The formula is in your module. Okay. Pag inopen nyo inyong Excel file, makikita nyo ito. So, on your right, makikita nyo to. Sow level will be based from a student surname. So, for me, my last name is Crisostomo, so 250. So, I will just type 250 on the yellow box here. Okay, that will be my sow level. This will be my basis for the other computations. Okay, so you have this, and below these columns, you can see this. So, you will compute for the litter index, liters per year, and so on. Okay, so you will just follow the formula. So, ang formula sa litter index ay 365 divided by B plus C plus D plus E. Okay, so makikita nyo sa left side ninyo yung B, C, D, E na yan. Okay, so you will just type on the yellow box, remember the equal sign. 365 divided by open and close parentheses, B plus C plus D plus E. Always remember to put open and close parentheses. If not, magkakamali kayo. Okay, so that's it. You will just follow the formula below. Okay, so I think that's it for this summer under swine production. And so if you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to message me. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your summer.